I'm back again with another one of these talks, and yes, I love talking like this because it helps me understand myself, it helps me, help other people if I can. And I think today's topic can be on just being yourself, being able to rest mentally, not having to worry about everything. And yes, social media does fuel a lot of our lives. People always ask me, why aren't you online? Why aren't you calling me? Why aren't you doing this? Sometimes I will do it, but you guys have to notice that if someone doesn't want to do something, they don't have to do it. That doesn't mean they don't care for you any less. That just means that they're trying to compensate and take some time for themselves in some cases. Some cases. There are some people out there that take advantage of that, but in some cases, people just like to be by themselves. And me as an introvert, I love being by myself. If I have to talk to someone, I love talking to people too. So it's complicated because I'm like an introvert kind of extrovert. Sometimes I like to talk to people when I'm in different settings, but sometimes I get very energy drained and I just love to be by myself, either writing Chinese or just reading or just writing or doing whatever what makes me happy, like music. I actually spend most of my time doing school, music, YouTube, even playing video games. I have a video game channel linked down in the description down below. It's called Your Basic as Heck. That's also my Roblox. You can go over there. You can watch me play dumb games on Roblox or other games that are popular. But that's besides the point. The point now is you have to take some time for yourself. You gotta notice that some people in this world aren't worth your time, and some people are. You gotta notice the right from wrong, the wrong from right. It's hard to notice sometimes because it's like sometimes you're too in your head about different things, and your brain you just can't. You can't think, you can't process anything. Sometimes it's just too much for you. And I understand that because we all have that time where we feel so emotionally drained. And the more and more you keep trying to talk to people to hide your emotions, the more and more you keep burying on the inside, the more and more you start to feel depressed and anxious, and you start to feel all these emotions that you never wanted to feel before. You also start to feel kind of controlling over yourself and other people. And that's just something that can be a good thing, but it can be a bad thing. And this is why you gotta take care of yourself. Because the more you try to take care of yourself, the more other people around you will be happy. And if you don't take care of yourself, the more other people worry about you all the time, and that's not only affecting your health, but it's affecting their health as well. Because sometimes, even if you don't tell people things, people can sense the feelings in the room. It's like when you walk into a classroom and everyone's acting up, but then they pretend that they weren't acting up around you. You felt that emotion. You understood that emotion, which means it's still present in that room, which means it is still going to affect you because now it's part of your head and now you're overthinking and now, it's a cycle of things. One thing can affect another, and that thing can affect many other things. If you don't stop the cycle or the process, it'll just keep going over and over and over again. And we need to stop that cycle and process, because if we don't stop that cycle and process, then so many bad things or good things can happen. I always say a bad thing has a good or a bad, and a good thing has a good or a bad. It depends on the way you view it. Everything in this universe has an answer, but that doesn't mean you're always going to find the answer. Sometimes you got to either look within yourself or outside of yourself with other people around you. Surround yourself with good people. Surround yourself with people that make you happy, such as your best friends and people that you love talking to. And life isn't always going to work your way. There are many times when I want to call someone and I just can't call them because they're busy or I'm busy, and it just doesn't work. And I hate that. It just pains me on the inside. But there's nothing I can do about it because life has its mysterious ways of thinking and doing things. it does what it does. You cannot just stop life and be like, hold up, stop, I need to do something. Like, stop time, I need to check my phone or something. Like, it doesn't work like that. And I think we all know by now that it doesn't work like that. As a 17-year-old, I don't want to say I feel old, because of course I'm not old, but I am older to the point where I am growing and maturing and I'm learning different things still. Because we're all going to learn different things. And I just think that this world is chaotic, but it doesn't have to be chaotic. It's only chaotic because you surround yourself with chaotic people and chaotic things. And if something chaotic happens to you, it's really hard to get that out of your head. And I understand that. But at the same time, you gotta take care of yourself and learn to mend yourself for the ways of life. Because if you don't mend yourself for those ways of life, then your being will be demolished as life keeps moving forward and you'll be left behind. And I feel like we're all scared of being left behind. But again, it's part of the cycle. But sometimes, depending on the way you handle situations and handle different things, it can either push you even more forward. The more behind you are, you can push all the way forward. You hear about success stories about people who are at their very low points in life, and somehow they push through to be the very top people ever, right? Well, it's like your emotions. If you're very depressed, that depressed state can actually make you be a better person. For example, when I was extremely depressed and I didn't want to get out of my room for I don't know how many times, but like in high school, like around freshman, sophomore year, like those times, I was depressed consistently and it just didn't get any better. But as soon as I kept realizing different things about myself and different things about people in this world, it kind of helped me grow as a person. And nowadays, yes, I get depressed sometimes because it happens. You have those bad days, you have those good days. But I also feel a bit more happy. Like what? You can be depressed and happy at the same time. Depression doesn't have to define you. Happiness doesn't have to define you. If someone looks at you and it's like, why aren't you happy? Why are you sad? People wonder for their own reasons, and you don't always have to respond to everything people say to you, right? But at the same time, we fall into this trap where there's guilt involved, and when there's guilt involved, it's hard to compensate for those emotions. So it's like if someone said something, it's almost as if like I would go to the counselor sometimes, and I would feel good after, but I would also feel guilty for venting my emotions and letting them out. But at the same time, letting them out was able to like keep me intact and be myself. So I feel like talking to people can be a therapy, and it is a therapy for many other people. But like me, talking to you guys or talking to my friends or different people around me, or even writing songs or poems, they help me be at peace and relaxation with myself. They help me realize what I like to do, what I want to do, and most importantly, who the heck I am. Because if I don't know who I am, then we have a problem. We have to figure that out. But I feel like in the society, we're so forced to grow up. And the more and more we're forced to grow up, the more we just feel lost and we feel like we're rushing ourselves to find ourselves. And rushing yourself to find yourself is not really a good thing. It can be for some people. Sometimes it works out. But for many people, it just doesn't work. So let me just tell you, do not rush yourself. Number one, do not rush yourself on anything. Take your time. Try to be at peace with yourself and have patience with yourself. You don't have to have patience for anyone else. The most important thing in this world is that you have patience with yourself. You're able to love yourself, take care of yourself, have patience with yourself, not tolerate yourself, because that's different. You can tolerate different things, but at the same time, if you're not in peace with yourself, or you cannot just accept yourself for the way you are, then you're never going to move on. And that's when a bunch of problems start to occur. Now, I'm not a philosopher. I'm not any of that stuff. No. I'm just a normal kid, 17 years old, in high school, growing up next year may have to go to college, that type of stuff. So whether or not you decide to take my advice or not is up to you. And I hope you guys can all have a wonderful, peaceful day and just be yourself. Learn to accept yourself and be yourself. And whenever you're feeling sad, you can always come to my videos to help you. Now please make sure to like and subscribe, and see you again next time. And until then, stay peaceful, because your peace is all that matters.